Bedrotting is one of the worst signs of severe depression in the modern era. If you don't know what bedrotting is, it's not what the trends like to say it is. It's not you have a day off work and you're decide to just basically stay in bed all day and chillax, watch some TV, watch some TikTok, eat some food, call it a day, and then your life goes back to normal the next day. That's not bedrotting. Bedrotting is where you are severely depressed, where you basically don't think there is a point in going outside, you don't believe that there's a point in doing anything in life. You don't believe that there's a point in basically anything anymore. You just think that you will just live day by day. You will live day by day, and you're too much, at least from my own experience, it's like almost as if you're too much of a coward to just end it all. But you're also hoping that someone almost reaches out their hand and kind of saves you at the same time. And it's one of those things that's just insanely difficult because you're essentially just constantly every single day berating yourself about every little detail. Well, why did I mess this up? Why did I mess that up? Why did I do this? Why did I do that over there? Why did I do this? Why can't I be better? You know? And it's funny to me because people will always make these videos and be like, well, bed rotting's so gross. Oh my god, I can't believe anybody would ever do that. But the thing is it's not that people who bed rot don't know that it's gross. It's that they don't care. Like, what is the purpose? And like honestly, this kind of happened to me a couple of years ago, where almost immediately after I turned 21, I kind of lost my desire to basically do anything in life. I lost my desire to become more knowledgeable, to create content, to work out. I lost all desire to basically do anything. Like nothing was fun to me, nothing was enjoyable or anything of that sort. And realistically, like at that time, what I probably needed was to see a therapist or to, have like an actual friend reach out to me. But I am never a person to tell my friends what's going on or anything. So unless you kind of come check up, you're not going to know about it. And it goes the same way for a lot of people who bed rot. And that's why you'll see rooms filled with trash, or they'll get to the point where they have like mice and roaches and things of these sorts where genuinely it's like a landfill borderline in the room. And it's something really hard to deal with because like I said, it's not something that is just this little plaything or whatever. It genuinely feels like what is the purpose of doing anything ever in your entire life? And a big part of this is piling up trash. Basically, you are just living just enough to where you're alive. That's it. You're living just enough to where you're alive, but you're not actually doing anything. You're not actually living. You're just there. And this kind of works different for a couple different people. Some people, like myself, I became severely overweight. I'm still overweight, like to this day, but been managing it a lot better now. And some people become extremely like anorexic and don't eat at all and just basically will just drink water or Dr. Pepper or energy drinks and then go to sleep and repeat the cycle over and over again until you have a literal pile of trash of just these things. And I think another thing about this too is in general, I kind of said before where you kind of want somebody to reach out their hand to help you, but you also don't. You don't want certain people to, is more what I should say. You don't want, people that annoy you to. You don't want people that don't really understand you to. You don't want anything like that. You want someone to reach out their hand that can understand it on a level and can truly fathom what you're going through, what's kind of in your head, you know. And and I'll say that like for me, I'm lucky. I am. I have like a very solid iron willpower where once I kind of change my philosophy on something or something like that, it's very hard for me to go backwards like at all. And for anybody who is dealing with this right now, honestly, this is the advice I would give. Find something Doesn't have to be today, tomorrow, the next day, the day after that. Just find something that you want to try to do. And after you figure out what that thing is, try every day to push yourself to do it. And don't beat yourself up if you miss a day. But for me, it was actually going outside and walking around the block. Like starting out a couple days here and there where you would actually go, you walk around and just get out at, or something. Or you could make it where it's like, okay, maybe I'll actually start going to the store, or I'll walk down the street, or maybe I'll go make dinner for myself. Just something that is, to most people, would be a very small thing. But when you are in that bed rotting phase and you are like truthfully 100% like you do not want to leave that room outside of like getting food, those little things feel like a mountain to get over. But eventually doing it once makes you realize how refreshing it is. And then maybe you do it again and you're like, man, I actually kind of enjoy this a little bit more than sitting in bed. And then you start doing it more and more and more until eventually the bed rotting goes away. And you realize that you can kind of mend yourself. And I'll say every person I've ever known who has uh, developed into bed rotting and has gotten out of it themselves without that helping hand are, I'm not trying to like stroke my own ego or anything, but genuinely are probably the strongest mental people that you will ever meet in your entire life, because they were essentially pushed all the way to rock bottom and then completely got back up on their own. And I think there's something commendable about that for the people out there that had it worse than me. Like I said, I was pretty lucky. I went through it for like a couple months, gained a lot of weight, and it sucked. But there's people who deal with it every day for years and years and years, and a lot of the time it's because they have deeper and worse issues that are actually very hard to talk about. And yeah, a big reason I just wanted to talk about this was because I see people making memes about it all the time. I see people, being like, my day of my life with me bed rotting. And it's literally like they live in borderline a mansion and they're just scrolling TikTok on a day. And then people will show their room of actual bed rotters and they'll have like mice, they'll have cockroaches, they'll have silverfish, they'll, have piles of trash. And people are like, ugh, that's so gross. Yeah, like, do you not think that they think it's gross? No, they just don't care. Anybody who has started bed rotting doesn't care. I mean, we can take a small look for a second and go like Asmongold, right? I think Asmongold is a great example of this, where genuinely, if he didn't live stream, right, and like create YouTube videos, he would be bed rotting every single day. That's a big reason why his house has piles of trash, or it'll just like build up of like mice being able to get in. It's not because he's going, oh yeah, I love those guys, those old guys who come in here and you know do weird stuff in my house. It's like, and this isn't me saying like hyping up Asming or anything. It's just genuinely looking at it from an outside perspective that a lot of these streamers, a lot of these content creators in general, are people that are just severely, severely depressed and need like actual help. It's just Asmongold is the most popular one to that you could probably look at almost instantly. But yeah, anybody out there that is dealing with this or just dealing with like severe depression in general, I can't help too much. But if I could genuinely, if I could give any advice, is just find one thing that you can use to slowly start helping yourself get out of that, right? At least on a severe level. If you can get past the bed rotting, it, I would honestly say at least having functional depression is better than just actually waiting for like a life altering event to magically happen in a room 24/7. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was able to help someone, and have a wonderful night, everybody. Peace.